That Heat culture can only last for so long, man.
Hey, we hate the Heat culture.
Eventually, you got a hoop, man. Eventually, you got a hoop. Tough start for Miami. We're back here reacting to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Nuggets beat the Heat pretty profoundly in Game 1, winning the game. I think it was 104-93 in emphatic fashion. Jokic, many others stood out, and there'll be a lot of good stuff to talk about that we're here to react to it all and look forward to the rest of the series. So glad to be back. Like, review, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff for us on the show. Do appreciate all the love. No intro today. We're just going to jump straight into it. And yeah, it was just a very surprising Game 1. Just seeing
was it surprising?
Teams. Actually, that's a good point. I don't know if it's necessarily surprising. It was more so sad, in my opinion. It was more so we knew the talent that Denver had. We saw, and they continue to show that. And the Heat, as great of a story as it's been. I don't want to go too far, but just for words' sake, I'll say the lights may have been too bright in Game 1 for a few of them guys. As you have in your banner there, 0 for 9. There are a couple of guys who couldn't get their shots to fall and all kinds of stuff. It was a tough night for a lot of those guys, and even still in that, they only lost by 11, which is a point I'll get to later on. But it was more so sad than a surprising night for me. What'd you think?
Yeah. I mean, definitely not going to make the same mistake as we did last time when the Lakers showed some fight in that game. We were like, oh, they made some adjustments. Like we see the pathway to the win now in the series. Not going that route this time. But I do, as you alluded to, that there was a whole lot of missed shots, which we'll talk about.
Correct.
And I think that had a large determining factor in the outcome of this game. But yeah, I mean, what stood out is Denver kept humming. That was one of my questions, whether the 10-day break would have them a little bit rusty or whether they would be completely fresh legs and humming as usual. And it was the latter. And I think it helps when you have Jokic running the show as he did. And yeah, I mean, Denver looks like, I mean, they were the 1 seed for a reason in the West. They look like the best team in the league. And we kind of said, I mean, I had the Lakers winning the West, but I said that they would be fine in the East no matter who they played. And I think that same sentiment goes for the winner of the Western Conference, the Nuggets.
Right.
I think they would have had a fine time with whoever the opponent is. And I think they're just a little bit too talented, too deep for this Miami Heat team, who's a little bit shorthanded with no Tyler Hero as well. And just not quite elite shot making as the Nuggets have.
They are saying that the series is already over. So you agree with that?
I missed those early days of Snapchat with DJ Khaled when he was running Snapchat for a little bit.
Right.
2016. Me and Matt both had the Nuggets winning this series. So I guess
in 7 though.
Yeah. So technically, I believe the Nuggets will win it, but I do think it's still a deep series. Like, as I asked you, was that a surprise? It wasn't completely surprising to me that they lost Game 1. The Heat. I think we all predicted actually that the Nuggets would win Game 1,
right?
For a multitude of factors, including that Miami just came off a 7-game series,
correct?
Going from Boston to Denver, and that elevation, as we know, plays a factor. So we thought that they would lose Game 1, but I think they have a chance to steal Game 2 if they make a few adjustments here and there, and I think it can still be a lengthier series than at least the Lakers saw with the Nuggets for sure.
Sure, and I picked the Heat. I saw an avenue for them to do so, and to be honest with you, even as disappointing of a game this Game 1 was, I still somewhat see it. I guess. You said you weren't going to go like the Lakers that we learned from the last time. I still yet again see the formula that the Heat could find to figure their things out. A big thing, obviously, of course, is make or miss league. So starting off, they have to make their shots. We already pointed out that they had a couple guys, Strus and Martin. Martin was MVP to a lot of guys last round, and Caleb Jordan, we're going to call him. He was far from that. He was Caleb Martin.
I know. I kind of want to stop that narrative that he should have got the MVP too. Because I feel like it was clearly Jimmy's award. I know he was making a hell of a lot of shots at a high clip, but Jimmy's the one getting the most attention. He's the one
Right.
leading them on both ends of the floor too,
Right.
and his stats were better than Martin's as well
Uh-huh.
overall. So
Yeah, I hear you in that. Just playing stuff and how narratives get, and we'll
yeah,
talk about that more in a minute. But to my point, real quick, just in the avenue for this Heat squad, still, it just appears that, well, of course, again, just as I was saying, making their shots, and then they also, it appeared beyond just making the shots, they were finding ways. Spoelstra was getting guys open looks as well, beyond just them
exactly.
having to make it. Vincent and guys to get shots. There were a few times where guys get open looks, and as you point out, I think even the very first look was a Strus open three from
Wide
the
open
corner,
three, yeah.
wide open, and he just clunked it. So
yeah,
they're getting open shots. They have to make them. So just seeing that Spoelstra sees a scheme that potentially could work, and there are plays that are being enacted that are getting guys looks that should be putting them in position to succeed. I think he can continue to do that, and then it just goes back to them doing their thing. And then beyond that, of course, we only see a little bit more elevated play from Jimmy Butler. Of course, that's him being the lead guy. He seemed a little passive at times during the game. He has to take more control of that and not. We call it. We talk about the Lakers, the LeBron field-out game. Jimmy Butler has no room for a field-out game in this position. He has to go in and attack and just take hold of the opportunity that's in front of him. Hopefully, going forward from here, he does that. And then, the last thing as well in that is just that Bam has continued to be he was in game one. Actually, just Bam just continue to make his shots and continue to stay aggressive as he was in that game one. If he does so, that definitely can help, and hopefully the rest of these guys will follow suit going forward. But do you see them having the opportunity still, or as I already asked you, you think even with whatever adjustment that the Heat make, that Denver will stay ahead?
Yeah, a lot of my points that I had written down from game one, my reactions coincide with several of the things that you just mentioned. You just touched on Jimmy being a little bit passive. I felt like he definitely needed to be more aggressive going to the rim. He had that one driving layup that I'm sure you could probably remember, because I think that was the one driving layup that he had in the game.
Right.
And I think that's something that they need to rectify in game two, not just with Jimmy, but he's the leader of the pack as far as getting to the rim. He's one of the better slashers in the league. They need to put more rim pressure on this Denver squad because they shot 43s and only shot 33% from three. Granted, they were wide open looks, as you mentioned, so I get why they were taking them, and they were hitting them at a higher clip in the previous series. But when the shot's not falling, you have to mix it up, get in rhythm at least. There was another three that Strus took that got blocked by Aaron Gordon. When I said to my family, I was like, it didn't matter. He wasn't gonna make that anyway. Him and Martin and Robinson combined were 2 of 23 from the field. So there's no way they're gonna win any games in this series if they shoot that poorly. I don't think they shoot that poorly for the rest of the series. Maybe another game they do, but I don't think consistently it's going to be that bad. I think that will regress back to the mean a bit. I agree with you on Bam. That felt like an offensive ceiling game for Bam, which concerns me a little bit because they weren't able to win. Kind of reminded me of game one of the Lakers series where AD had his 40 and 10, but we still lost because Jokic put on a masterclass. Kind of the same situation. And then Denver size was a problem for Miami. We got Aaron Gordon in the picture right there. He was feasting in the first quarter, first half. I think he had 8 or 10 quick points in that game, and it was a bit of a mismatch out there. And I don't quite know how they rectify that. I know that they want to get Jimmy on AG more, but they are a bit of a small team. He was bullying Caleb Martin, he was bullying Strus. So I mean, I don't know exactly how they're going to be able to rectify the size when smaller guys get switched onto those guys. But I do trust Spoelstra to make his adjustments where he sees fit. I'm sure he's breaking down film like a madman in between these games. So I'm sure they will have their adjustments. But credit on the Denver side as well. Murray's continuing to play as like a superstar. And Jokic is continuing his dominance with his triple-double run of this playoffs. It's been sensational to watch. It's funny listening to Mark Jackson have to compliment him after covering the game when he didn't have him on his MVP ballot or top 3 on his MVP ballot. But yeah, Jokic is putting down his argument for best player in the league for sure. So to answer your question, I do potentially see a pathway for Miami to make this a competitive long series, and the shot making being a little bit better, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was, and putting more rim pressure. But it's going to be a very challenging series, no doubt.
For sure, for sure. So I'm looking forward to see how that chess match continues to play out, and then just looking beyond it, just looking at what we see on the court and appreciating the talent all across it. Beyond just the game itself, a point that came to mind with me was that. Oh, excuse me, hold on, everything's moving around. All right, a point that came to mind with me was just that we look at guys like Jimmy Butler, we look at guys like Jamal Murray. These were guys in the regular season that were very overlooked. We talked about all the other guys like the Steph Currys, of course, they'll be great and we're in position as well. And all the other guys, but names like these, like names like Jamal, names like Jimmy, were heavily overlooked during the season. And it's just a point to me was just like all these lists that we keep stay so focused on, all these lists about who's the best in the league and who's the best point guard. It's like, yeah, sure, we keep having those lists for the sake of content over everything, or however word people keep wanting to say and joke about all the time. But in reality, we look at situations and just appreciate just who guys are and see where guys have room to elevate. And seeing how these guys elevate in the playoffs definitely is something to be appreciated. And yeah, just it makes me look at how we discuss regular season, I guess, differently as things go forward. So what are your thoughts on the rise of Jamal Murray, the rise of Jimmy Butler yet again, and how we overlook them most of the season, and though they end up here in the end?
Yeah, we talked about both these guys being the cream of the crop as far as playoff risers. I think they're the faces of what the ultimate playoff riser are. I mean,
exactly.
Both of them are all-star level, like fringe all-star level guys throughout the regular season, but they jump into bona fide superstar level in the playoffs.
Right.
And I think that's something that has to carry a little bit more weight when you're kind of breaking down these guys and putting together your lists of ranking for players in the league. I think it has to have a huge weight into how you show up when the lights are the brightest in these big moments. And those are two guys who are showing why the regular season stuff doesn't matter as much when you're able to rise to the occasion like you are and lead your team in a playoff series when it matters most. So, yeah, I mean, I think to your question, lists and rankings and all that kind of stuff for the regular season, it really doesn't matter because ultimately the ultimate goal is winning a title. I don't want that to come off as like the ring culture thing where it's like your production during the regular season doesn't matter at all. I mean, because you got to get there. It's 82 game season grind. So it's important that you perform as well in the regular season, and I think that's a good reason for why they're making it like you have to play 65 games and all that to be eligible for regular season awards. But I think it's just you give a little bit more weight to guys that show up when it matters most in the playoffs and in the finals. So,
yeah, definitely appreciate that. There are a lot of guys that we call superstars and stars and whoever the case may be that don't ever really get to this point. While other guys who we don't label superstars are like Jamal Murray, continue to elevate like a superstar should and get here, and definitely should mean more as we go along. So yeah, definitely appreciate them, and we'll hopefully continue to get them more attention as things go along. And yeah, just looking forward to how conversations change as a result of that. In the same kind of way, bringing it back kind of LA, where the Lakers show, LA show, Clipper, whatever, all the stuff going on here. Tying back to us just a little bit, what should Lakers be learning from the Nuggets and Heat during this run that they've been on so far?
Actually, I like this question. It made me think a bit. I think it's a lesson that they've probably already learned from how the Russell Westbrook trade went down, but not sacrificing your depth to go for the third star.
Right.
I think we've seen in the last couple seasons actually more teams going for like the 2-star format and building a team around their 2 stars, and you see that clear picture with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Not everyone's going to have a Jokic on their team, but we do have a LeBron and an AD. So we have the perfect structure to build around those 2 stars. Yes, they are one aging and one a little bit injury prone. A little bit might be generous. But building around those 2 stars shooting, depth, continuity, team chemistry, like all of that matters. And I think that's something you can pull from the Denver Nuggets explicitly.
For sure.
They stayed the course. They had guys who were injured and out for full seasons or majority of the season, and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. They stayed the course. Jokic grinded it out, drug teams to playoffs. Now that they're fully healthy and have the same nucleus of guys at the very least, and have brought in shooters to be around them in KCP, ironically, who we traded away from our championship team, and Bruce Brown. So you see the formula there, building around your two stars, putting shooting around them, high level role players that are bought in. And I think that's what the Lakers see too with how they made the trade at the deadline to acquire more depth and put some NBA level role players around the Lakers, around their stars, because they didn't have that prior to the trade deadline. Yeah.
You said a lot of things. I was going to say a big thing was continuity, and what we see with the Nuggets and how they kept their nucleus together for a long time, allowed them to grow together and become who they are. So that definitely add to that and co-sign that point. Another point that I'll add to it, just for the sake of it, just add to the conversation a little bit. Seeing what we saw from Eric Gordon in that game, something that the Lakers and the league can learn. Just that all guys don't have to be the man to be the man, if that makes sense. Aaron Gordon was the guy in Orlando, and it didn't quite work out there. He got to go to another situation where he fit better into a role that allowed him to be himself. And we saw in game one that, at least for that moment, he was the man in that situation. So looking forward, we don't necessarily need to go and get maybe we do, maybe we don't, but we don't necessarily need a star. We don't gotta go get a Kyrie to be that third star next to LeBron and AD. We can go find somebody else who may be a talent that may be playing above where he should be and bring him down to a third level. Maybe Kyrie is that himself. Who knows? But just saying that we don't have to go reach for the biggest names. We can find other guys who have talent that may not just be in the right roles where they're currently at and can make them fit better in their situation. So, yeah, I definitely salute Aaron Gordon for what he did in that game one. Very down to him, our Arizona guy. And I definitely think that the Lakers could use guys like that on our squad as well. So, looking forward to see how the Lakers in the league all adjust to what the Nuggets and the Heat are doing right now. So, look forward to there. Anything else you want to add real quick about that?
About that specific point, I was trying to think what I could say you could learn from the Miami Heat. They're another team, obviously, that has a lot of continuity, and we talk about the Heat culture. But within that, I mean, Jimmy is a newer addition, but he's been there a few years now. And Jimmy and Bam are the nucleus of that team, along with Spoelstra and from the top down with Pat Riley. So yeah, I think it's along the similar lines. Like you see the teams that have kind of stuck with their nucleus and sought to build around those guys that they believe in can get them and have seen that they can get them to the conference finals and the finals, like LeBron and AD have, not abandoning it or not trying to do too much and go for the third bona fide star, but building around those guys with role players that you trust. I mean, they got a bunch of undrafted guys that have got them to the finals. So
to that point, something that came to mind with me, and they pushed it almost to the brink, but just the idea of pace. And there are a lot of teams that like to come out in regular season and show that they're the team and jump ahead and win a bunch of games and end up flailing out early on in the playoffs because they burned out from how hard they were going through regular season. Meanwhile, the Heat, while they were trying, they're more so finding their footing. And yes, they pushed it a little to the edge of the brink. They were minutes away from almost getting bounced out by the Bulls. But even still, once they got in and got rolling, it was clear they had a formula that worked against all these great squads. They were able to carry them to the finals they have now. They have Jimmy Butler, who's the lead, of course, and he does his thing. Bam does his thing as well. But you have a bunch of other guys who fully know their roles and know how to move and find their spots. At that point, even in this game one, though they weren't falling, guys found their spots, found their shots, and were able to contribute. And just having a team that understands that, even with our Lakers squad, taking back to us, there were times where it felt like guys didn't know who's the third guy. Is Austin the third guy? Even though it didn't fully work out, and you can joke about whatever. Is D'Lo the third guy? Whoever the case is, other guys kept stepping up and falling, and there are too many times where guys seem to be playing above or below or their role, or couldn't even figure out what their role really was. So having allowing yourself to pace the regular season, make sure everybody knows who is what, who is where, how this offense needs to work, I think could definitely be a thing that we learn from the Heat beyond the culture, whatever jokes you want to make there. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there, and very excited to see how the rest of the series goes. To that point, the last thing about Game 1, our G's units for Game 1. I didn't hit on all three. I think I got one of the unders. I had over on.
Oh,
I think
it was the Caleb Martin one didn't hit.
Caleb Martin didn't hit. Yeah, that one fell way short.
Yeah.
But as for the polls, I like the polls of the switch up I did, adding a couple fun things in there for you guys. I'll continue to try to find some fun things for you guys to look forward to as the series goes along. As for our winner for Game 1, our winner was a guy that goes by the name of Ashton Odegaki, I believe his name is. Ashton Odegaki 619.
Not familiar with that one.
Not familiar with that one, but follower of the show and all of that, and
Salute.
voted on the page and got the most votes correct on the polls that we posted. So good stuff there. I'll keep freestyling. How many times does Mark Jackson say Jokic's name during the broadcast? How many times
does he praise Jokic? Yeah.
Right. I had the DJ Khaled in the commercial. Mm-hmm. He did that in the first half.
Okay. Oh, I missed it. There was a DJ Khaled commercial. Okay.
There was a DJ commercial. I saw it immediately. So yeah, good stuff there. We'll keep our eyes on as things go along. And yeah, just excited to keep adding to it. As for Game 2, we pull these up. Where'd these go? Here we go. So Prize Picks did a thing today where they gave people a free 4-pick entry for everybody to go in and put something down if they wanted to. So I put one down for the game. This first one, I don't know. I'm trying some new approaches this time. I haven't been hitting on a lot of stuff, so gotta start bobbing and weaving. Make the sponsor adjustments as need be.
Max Strus with the picks.
Right. It's tough break the last couple games. I hit sometimes and it's great, and then I fall off. So trying to get more back in the win column. Hopefully this does it. I get Jimmy Butler for under 7.5 free throws made. They shot 2, which we didn't point to earlier on.
That's what I was going to mention later total. Too,
Denver plays a very clean game. Weren't going to allow the Heat to bait them and go. They drove into the paint and were aggressive at times. And yeah, they only had, as a team, 2 total free throws.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So I don't think Jimmy Butler, even if he does increase even slightly, I don't think he's going to even get to the line 8 times to even get over that to do so. Aaron Gordon's been actually pointing out how he had a block. He blocked Strus on a 3 and was active just all over the place. He continues to do so, I believe, in Game 2 and can get over a half a block, or he'll get 1 block in the game. Bam stays active, and with maybe the Heat missing shots that they continue to do, or him just being aggressive as he's been, I think he gets over 10 rebounds to get again in this game. And then lastly, Michael Porter Jr., who's been active, a little bit more active on the boards in recent games as well. I think he can get over 8 rebounds as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Could be way off, could be all the way on. We'll see. Y'all Taylor, wherever it is. That was one I said was a free one. One more I put together. I have Michael Porter Jr. again, making 2 free throws on the opposite end. Denver, I think, had like 20 free throws themselves. They were a lot more aggressive and were getting fouls and all of that. Michael Porter Jr. definitely is a key cog in that offense and can play very aggressive and draw contact. And I think he can get to the line, even just one time, make 2 free throws to get over the 1.5 free throws made there. Gabe Vincent, the other 2 guys we pointed to, Caleb Martin and Max Strus, weren't hitting their shots. Gabe found his rhythm at least a little bit as the game was coming to a close, and I think he's going to have to be a key piece in this offense going forward. So I think he gets over 12.5 points. I think Jokic just being Jokic as he's been. He needs to find all these guys on all that they've been doing, getting over 11 assists for sure. I think he could do that. So I think one of these parlays will hit for me. Fingers crossed. If not, y'all can fade me on both of those and cash out on my behalf. So yeah, fun thing to look forward to there. Any thoughts on any of that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think I like this slip a little bit better than the other one.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm not terribly mad at any of the picks. But we know how it goes.
No degenerate bet. No degenerate bets. No 4 points in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That I'll leave those alone. But I think these are enough of a watch to keep me satisfied still, and I think they'll hit. So
okay.
Good stuff there. Then lastly, as we go into Game 2, just the last thing is the game itself. Who you got winning Game 2?
Yeah. It was interesting because I think Miami can make the changes we talked about, like I said, being more aggressive, going to the rim, getting to the line more, all that we talked about. And right. I think they could still lose with the adjustments made. I think it's going to be a close game down to the wire. I do think because it's a 7-game series, in my opinion, I do think Miami's able to steal one. So I don't know if it's this one or if it's game 5, but I think Miami does steal one. I think, as you kind of mentioned, didn't fully go there. Like, this was a very winnable game had they made more of their wide open looks. Like, they
closed
couldn't
the gap.
ask for better looks.
They closed the gap a few times at the end too. They lost by 11, but there were times it was down to, I think he got as low
8
as
points.
8 a couple of times, and they just missed threes and Denver responded. So yeah,
Exactly.
there were ways, there were opportunities there.
Yeah. So while it was like dominant for much of the game for Denver, there were moments in there where Miami made it more interesting, and had they been hitting their shots more, I think they could have won this game. So I'm gonna say Miami steals. I think it's like a 1 or 2 possession game though. But I'll say Miami steals game 2.
I brought it up where I had it with
I don't think Robinson shoots that bad again. We didn't mention him as much.
Correct.
And I think Strus makes at least 1 3, which
yeah,
1 3 will help. But I think he makes a couple shots. Highsmith was really good too. We didn't mention him, and Lowry actually off the bench provided a spark for them. I think Spoelstra's not afraid to go to the hot hand and what's working. So I think he's going to try to find the right mix of guys that's putting pressure on the rim and hitting their shots and defending. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Miami steal. Wouldn't be shocked if Denver gets it in game 2 again, but I'm gonna go with the Miami steal.
I think Miami steals it. As someone who thinks that Miami's going to find their way back into the series, yeah, I think they're going to have to. If this is going to be a long series, as we hope that it is. So yeah, I think they do that. Then something else I wanted to point out, or maybe I won't. I'm trying to find it right now. Me and Matt caught it after the episode we did last time after game 1. It was just like, really the number for Miami is 110.
Oh. As far as their scoring?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know where everything's off today, but if Miami can get over 110 points, that's a good marker for them as a way for them to potentially get ahead of
a W.
It's very hard thing to do. Denver doesn't allow a lot of teams to do that on a few occasions where teams do get over 110. For example, the Lakers got 111. And Nuggets find a way to get just back past that 113 and little things like that. Well, just like having that essentially as a marker, if they can have a high scoring game, they put up a good amount of points, almost exactly as that being the marker. 110 seems to be a number where if they can get up there with that. The Nuggets may struggle, not struggle, but it could be enough value there for them to get past that Nuggets squad.
On the regular season, their offensive rating was 109.5. So they're slightly under it, but yeah,
it's right there. And we've seen the playoffs that we haven't really seen the Heat get even close to that, except once in a big blowout. So they got 111 in I think that was game 2. That was, it seemed, but yeah, you have the high scoring game. They trying to keep things low. So if they can keep things around that 110 marker, that should be a good one. I think this first game was again 104 to 93. So another low scoring game again, which should have went in the Heat favor, but as you pointed out, shots weren't falling and all of that. So yeah, we'll see how things adjust going forward. Didn't point it out in the best way. I was thinking on the fly last minute, but just some small things to look at as things go along. If you want any more little markers to take note of, and yeah, that's really it for now. And we can get out of here. Any other points you want to make?
I think we're good. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Good. All right. I don't know what's going on today. We're getting out of here.
This man forgot how to podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on today. I'm ready to get out here and go watch Spider-Man for sure. So I'll get out here as soon as I can. That's it for right now. Excited to keep following the finals and all of that. Excited to get more into LA sports talk as things go along. We'll surely have some more things about the Lakers and all of that to talk about as our offseason goes on and as the finals wrap up. But for now, we'll keep coming back after every game and finding ways to give content to you guys and talk about what's going on all across the finals and all that. give our predictions and all that, and then go on about our day. So that's it for right now. Thank you for tuning in as always. Like, review, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff for us. I'm gonna get some wine and get out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it. Peace. Oh my God. We got it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.